every day we dance and life's been smiling. I'm delighted 'cause I got you.
Hello zebras, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, then thank you for stopping. My name is Becky. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. I deal with videos on chronic illnesses and pain and mental health issues. So if you are new here, click the little subscribe button if you enjoy this content, and it will keep you up to date with when I post new videos. And if you are returning, then thank you very much for sticking around. Today's video is going to be a little bit of an experiment and also a discussion about weed. Yes, today we're going to be talking about cannabis. So if you don't like it, then this is probably not the video for you, but we're going to be talking about cannabis. It's pain relief and CBD oil, so stick around for that. So this actually feels like quite an appropriate video for me to make because actually at the minute I'm suffering with quite a lot of pain the last few days. I've had a lot of stomach issues again the last few days. I've really struggled to eat. So at the beginning of this video, I'm going to do a little bit of experiment with you because I have been trying something called CBD oil. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I thought it would be good to show you the effects of this medicine, and this is a completely unbiased review. So you know that my opinion is a genuine one. And if something works, I'm going to tell you, and if something doesn't work, I'm going to tell you. So I'm going to take a dose of CBD oil now because I'm actually in pain as we speak, and I will let you know by the end of the video how it has worked and if it has worked, and whether I would recommend it or not. So let's take a dose. So this is a product that I have. I've only used it once the other night. I'm not going to tell you my opinion on it, but it is called Love CBD. And it is Entourage Oil, a cannabis food supplement with olive oil. So basically you squirt once under your tongue or as many times as you need, leave it for a few minutes and then swallow. I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't taste great. It kind of reminds me a bit of tea leaves. It's quite a herby taste. It's not nice. If it's going to help with your relief, let's go for it. So I would mark my pain right now about a 6 out of 10, which is enough to be in discomfort, but not enough for me to scream and kick and cry. Normally when it gets to about an 8, that's when I know I'm in trouble. I am going to go ahead and squirt this now, and we will see at the end of the video whether it worked or not. So now that's out of the way. So I have actively been using marijuana for pain relief for about a year and a half, and I'm not ashamed to say that because I have found it very helpful for me personally. About a year and a half ago, I was in my 3rd year of university and I was struggling quite a lot with pain. Over the course of about 12 months, in the period of when I started using marijuana, I was actually prescribed so many different kind of things to relieve my pain, and none of them helped me whatsoever. Quite common with Ehlers-Danlos specifically that there is very few things that help patients with chronic pain because there's no actual site of injury for the pain, so you can't target something if you don't know what is causing the pain as such. This is kind of how it was described to me by a pain specialist that I went to see. So I used things like gabapentin, pregabalin, OxyContin, I think, amitriptyline, nortriptyline, a special kind of chili-based cream, which was just ridiculous. That was at the point when my pain specialist was basically throwing stuff at me and he had no idea what to do. Patches that kind of numb the skin, which is ridiculous again because the pain is inside my body, not on a skin surface. And I had a nerve block as well, which was horrifically painful. And after about a week, there was just no effect at all. So it wasn't like I had jumped straight to marijuana to use as a pain relief. It was kind of like a last resort sort of thing. And I had a friend who smoked it kind of recreationally, which is okay. If I've got no problem with people smoking marijuana recreationally, if that's what they want to do, that's their prerogative. So he smoked it recreationally, but he said to me, you know, this is great for pain relief as well. And I'd read a lot of things before about people using marijuana for pain relief and etc. And at this point I was pretty desperate, so I started using it for my pain, and I found that it was actually the one thing that really helped with my pain, especially when it just gets out of control levels like 8, 9, 10. It was the only thing that was bringing it down. Now the only thing that I was finding with marijuana was I was quite scared about being caught by my parents, because at this point I hadn't had this conversation with my mum about smoking it. So I was a bit nervous about being caught using it and what my parents' opinions would be on that. Turned out they were completely okay with it. They were fine with it because they knew that I was using it for my pain relief and not as a recreational basis. Second, whenever I did use it, if I had eaten beforehand, it would make me incredibly nauseous, to the point where I had like no control over my throat, and it was making me feel much more sick than I already did, which was pretty nauseous to begin with. Once I learned to, you know, make sure that I only used it on an empty stomach, I was completely fine. I was all right. Also as well, I was finding that the pain relief, although it was great, it was short-lived, unfortunately, and I would maybe get 2.5 hours best. Obviously, you know, when you're using pain relief, you want it to last longer, of course. Also, it's expensive, I'm not gonna lie. Like, for what you get, you don't know how good the quality is that you're getting. I used the one that my friend recommended me when I was at university, so it was a slightly different strain to when I came back home and I had to source it from someone else. I could tell the difference immediately between the two. I would say one was stronger than the other one. I was just kind of grateful that I had something that I could use as an emergency backup. And I still have an emergency backup tin for scenarios where I'm struggling, because at the minute I'm actually not on anything. I have my cyclazine, which is for sickness, because I'm sick all the time, and sometimes I use codeine because I sometimes need something that's immediate, and it's not great, but it's the only thing that I find will maybe help slightly, and I can't really go and smoke a joint at work, so as much as I might want to. I'm not really on anything at the minute, which is actually, you know, part of my choice as well, because I was finding that I was using all of these different medicines and stuff, and I just felt like I was building some kind of toxic cocktail in my system. I also found that a lot of these medications that you're being given by doctors, not that I don't trust them, well, yeah, kind of, I just don't trust them. And I was finding, actually, a lot of the side effects from the medications were almost as bad as the illness that I have. So this is a amitriptyline oral solution. I was actually on the pill form of this for a while, and I was finding that I was waking up every day and I just couldn't get out of bed. I was just so groggy. My brain fog was a hell of a lot worse when I was on it. I just felt like I couldn't focus and I couldn't do anything when I was using it. So, you know, I think the side effects from a lot of Western medicine isn't worth it. You know, I've followed my doctor's advice for so long and they've not helped me, and I feel let down by the system, so I've kind of gone about my own way of trying to find things that are going to improve my health, and, you know, so far doing it my way has been better than doing it the doctor's way. Sorry, but it's true. Now the problem here that I have in the UK is that marijuana specifically is criminalised. So it's great that, you know, over the last few years we've seen marijuana become legalised, especially across certain states in America. That's fantastic, amazing, you know, I'm all for that. But as of right now, where I live, it is criminalised, and we've had discussions with my doctor about it, and he said, whilst I understand that marijuana is great for a lot of my patients, you know, I can't actually recommend them to use it because I would be breaking the law by doing so. So obviously when I have resorted to smoking it, part of me feels guilty because it isn't legal in this country, but for me, the pros of it outweigh the cons, because for me at the minute, it's the only thing that really is anywhere near touching my pain, which is pretty severe and almost constant. a couple months ago, my mum was doing a lot of research into cannabis oil, which actually is legal, as far as I know, pretty much worldwide. So what they've done is they've kind of made it into an oil version of marijuana, but they've taken out the THC, which is the part of the weed that is the psychogenic, which makes you high and is the illegal aspect of it. So it still has the parts of it which help with the pain relief, but it doesn't get you high. So, you know, that's why I think a lot of parents are for giving it to their children, especially children that are having seizures and stuff, because there is no psychogenic aspect of it. It is just for the pain relief, and also it can stop seizures, which I think is fantastic. Why would you not want that? So my mum did a lot of research into it. She found an oil that she was happy with giving me, because, you know, you have to do your research and find one of good quality, and, you know, you've got to make sure that the background of where it's coming from is a legit place. So she found this one, which is the Love CBD, and it's not cheap, unfortunately, and I feel like it's a shame, because, you know, a lot of us chronically ill patients, I feel like we're punished in a way, because things are so much more expensive for us. You know, I'm gluten-free because I can't tolerate gluten anymore, and it costs me more to buy a loaf of bread than someone who isn't gluten intolerant. It just seems a bit unfair that us chronically ill patients who have no control over this have to spend more money to live a normal life, but whatever. So yeah, this is the one that she bought me. I think it was about £50, which is a lot for a tiny little bottle. Now, as far as I know, you can take this several ways. You can vape it, which is much better than smoking it, because you're not inhaling, you know, breathing in all the smoke into your lungs and stuff. Vape is just like the air, so it's a much safer way to inhale it than smoking it, if that's the route that you'd rather go. I haven't tried it yet, though. I do have a vape pen. Or the second one is to put it under your tongue and leave it for a little bit and then swallow it, and it gets absorbed. Now, the good thing about this is you can increase your dose as much as you want. You can take it as and when, because the effects are pretty quick. When I would smoke it, I found that the relief was pretty much instant. I found with a lot of Western medicine it was not the case. By the time I was up to an 8 or 9 and I was given medication, it would take like 40 minutes to even kick in. Whereas with marijuana, I found that it's gonna work, and if it's not gonna work, you're gonna know pretty quickly that it's not work, because it's pretty much instant for me. It's like a magic wand. It doesn't take away all my pain. I've never had any pain relief. It's completely removed every single bit of pain from my body. I think, you know, if there was a medicine that took away my pain instantly, it would be black magic, and I'd probably be a bit wary of it. No, I think people are right to be cautious about marijuana use and stuff. Obviously, you know, it's considered a drug here in the UK, but I was always, you know, I always had an open mind when it came to marijuana, because it was, you know, it's a plant. It comes from a plant. It grows. Whereas something like, you know, heroin or whatever is a man-made substance. I definitely wouldn't, you know, want to be putting that in my body. Whereas like marijuana, it's a plant, so I feel a bit, you know, it's more organic. But if you look at it from this perspective, things like alcohol, cigarettes are legal, and they are toxins and poisons that you're putting in your body. You're only taking as much of a risk as something with them, aren't you? I think that's my issue with a lot of Western medicine, is it's all chemicals and you have no idea what you're putting in your body. You're taking your doctor's word for it. And I definitely feel, since stopping taking Western medicine, besides obviously my cyclozine, that I've felt more awake. I feel like I've got a little bit more energy, so that's good. So it's actually been about 25 minutes now. Probably won't be 25 minutes for you because I've edited quite a lot. But as far as CBD oil has gone, I would say my pain is now at about 4, which is pretty good for 25 minutes. And I only took 1 drop of it. I think to bring it down to a 4 is pretty good, and especially if you're on an 8 or a 9 and then that brings it down to like a 7. you're not doing too bad, are you? And it, like I said, for me, it's pretty instant. I'd say that the pain relief has been pretty instant. You know, it would take 40 minutes for something like codeine to kick in. And I feel just as awake. I don't feel, you know, any drowsiness. I don't feel foggy in my mind. I feel like I could go to work right now and perform as normal, whereas sometimes I'm at work and I have to take a double dose of codeine and I can barely stand because I feel so drunk and groggy and out of it. It also comes in a little bottle, so you could take this to work with you, but I definitely think that it's worth having an open mind about, and especially when you're seeing videos of children having seizures and they're given cannabis oil and it stops the seizures. So I think that about covers my thoughts on marijuana. What are your thoughts on it? I would love to know, especially people dealing with chronic illnesses, whether it helps your pain. A lot of people that I've spoken to in message boards all agree that for them marijuana helps with their pain, especially with Ehlers-Danlos related pain, because it's widespread, it's everywhere, it's just chronic, and they found that this is sort of one of the only things that really helps with their pain and bring it down. But I would love to know about any other chronic illnesses, and if you've ever experienced using marijuana based products, and if you haven't, if you're against it, I would love to know why you're against it. I respect everybody's decision whether they want to use it or not. My choice is that I want to use it and it helps me, but it might not help person A over there, you know. So I'd like to thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, hit the little subscribe button below. It keeps you up to date for free when I post new videos. These are some of the comments on the last few videos that I've had that I've really liked. If you would like to have your comment featured, then you know what to do. Leave a comment down below. And with that, guys, I will see you next week on Wednesday. Have a good week, guys. Bye!
There's no reason to chasing pavement on my own, 'cause you're here.